This one is for perimeter zones versus outside air temperature. And the outside air temperature has been rounded to, every other degree, 34 degrees, 36, 38, 40, 42, et cetera, but we can still slice and dice the data. What I'll read off for each one of these is I'll read off that sort of maximum cooling load and the maximum heating load in BTU per hour per square foot. And then we might note how those relate to the neutral hour loads, right? This is nice because in this building we did have temperatures up over 100 degrees. So we got up to 114 in the data and down to 34. So nice Northern California climate here. All right, so amenity spaces. As a whole, we're looking at 50 BTU for cooling and 75 BTU for heating. The neutral hour is about 50 BTU for cooling and 15 for heating. The individual zones, actually both of the individual, well, this one's 50 and 60. This one is 80 for heating and 50 for cooling. So that's not too bad. Oh, actually, look, there was multiple amenity spaces. There's about 4 of these spaces. So heating again, about 60 BTU a square foot. Cooling is about 42. And then we can cycle through these individual zones. This one's just about like an 11 and an 8. This one is a 31 and a 14. This one is here's the 80 and the 50. And here's our 60 and 50. Okay. Then this zone is amenities and staff lounge. I'm guessing that's one zone. So that's just like 35 and 16. If I do all these together, then there I'm at 40 and minus 53. So that's these amenity spaces. Clean utility, I'm guessing we only have one zone. 15 for heating and 19 for cooling. The coffee cafe, only one zone. That's a little screwy, by the way. I don't know why we're getting that. Here's our exam room. So apparently we have some perimeter exam rooms in the building. That's funny because that number is not too far off. This 10.6 number is not too far off what the sort of non-perimeter exam rooms were as a population. In fact, look, the difference between the neutral hour cooling load and the overall peak hour cooling load are not too far off. Here's a gymnasium. It looks like when it's really warm, you just don't go to the gym. It's actually probably that we don't have as much data up there. But not a big cooling load, 8 or 9. Here's our ultrasound imaging room, which is a perimeter space. 22, huh? 20 at the neutral hour and 23 at the weather-based hour. Injection stations, pretty generic space. 30, huh? Here's offices. We should have quite a number of perimeter offices. Yes, this is a pretty good sample size. So we got 24 BTU a square foot for cooling and 30 BTU a square foot for heating. That's sort of this extreme up to this extreme there. That's the range. We'll cycle through the zones. Here's one at 14. I'm reading off the cooling number. Here's one at 27. Here's one at 18. Here's one at 7. Here's one at 22. Here's one at 23. Here's one at 16 and a half. Here's one at 30. Here's one at 15. 14, 20, 18, 34, 12, 23. It's a pretty good population. Here's our 30. This one's probably the high. Here's this one's higher, 35. It's 36. 23 and 26. Again, please notice that the design load is way the heck up here. We're designing much higher than that. So we can knock our design loads down. I mean, even if you took that number and went up 10%, you'd be designing at 25. You could knock half out of your design loads and you'd be fine. Storage rooms, just one zone worth of that, not a lot of load. Here's a testing room. Actually, let's go ahead and combine these testing rooms and treatment rooms. It's interesting that we have these as perimeter spaces, but it looks like the difference between the neutral hour loading and the warm hour loading is not very high. So we're still getting this. I mean, this one's 12, this one's 20, this one is 10, this one is 27, this one is 17, this one's 22. And as a population, we're looking at 20. Is that all? Yeah, that's the end of the list. So those are all the perimeter spaces and the loads in those perimeter spaces. So we will save this, although we may never see it again. Who knows? And we can stop recording.